Back in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tan, and DJ Jeremiah. Was good.
All right, make sure you go to nectardistro.com if you are one of the ones out there looking for music distribution. Over 200 digital outlets with direct deals with iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, Pandora, you name it, and so many more. Make sure you go to nectardistro.com today to sign up, all right?
Yeah, man. So, more stuff happened. So, Rush Limbaugh was on The Breakfast Club, and I think it shocked a lot of people. They even felt the need to put like a disclaimer before the video started, because I know they were worried about the backlash for having somebody like him on. You don't know who Rush Limbaugh is. He's a very, very conservative radio host, very popular, been on for a very long time. He was just honored by President Trump at the last State of the Union address. Yeah. Controversial opinions. You decide how you feel about him if you go look him up. But having him on The Breakfast Club was a big deal. Like, so I have a clip for you to hear. It's edited down. It's not the whole clip. So if you want to go to Breakfast Club to see what he said in totality, I just caught the highlights. So listen to this and we'll come back.
Mm-hmm. Now, guys, can I tell you why I wanted to? The George Floyd story is being lost.
Right.
There are two things happening in America, and it sickens me what happened to him. Legitimate national outrage about a policeman's criminal brutality has been hijacked. And I don't want to forget about George Floyd. What happened to George Floyd sickened me, and I wanted to reach out and tell you all this. I want to make sure you have no doubt, and I'm not the only American who feels this way. The senselessness of it. You know, we're only given one life. We don't get a do-over. We only get one. We all take it for granted because it just happened. We're born. We don't even remember that. But George Floyd had his taken away from him. He didn't lose it. He had it taken away from him in a senseless, stupid way. And I think most Americans are just as angry and sad about this as I am. And I'm also angry at the cops that stood around there and didn't do anything to stop it. It was just, I can't tell you how frustrated it is. And I just wanted to share the emotion I have with you guys about this, and to try to convey to you that I actually think most Americans are just as sickened and outraged by it as I am. To me, this is not America. It's a sad.
Oh no, it's definitely America.
Well, see, but it's not what we can be. It's not what we have been. We're the greatest nation in history of the world, and we haven't achieved that on the basis
of
being.
For who though, Russ? I think it's easy for you to say because you're a white male, and that comes with a different level of privilege. And I do think America does work, but it works for the people that it was designed to work for. It doesn't work for everybody else the way it works for you.
Well, it can. That's the point of America. It can for anybody who wants to adapt to it, for anybody who wants to try to take advantage of the unique opportunities that exist in the United States. But look, you guys, let me tell you, you are a testament to the opportunity available in America. Look at you. How did you do it? What did you have to overcome to become the Breakfast Club? And what did you have to overcome to become dominant in morning drive and American radio? Who held you back, or what were you able to overcome in order to do it? The opportunity is there. Is the only thing I'm saying.
How are you going to use your privilege as a white male to combat this prejudice? You got a direct line.
I don't buy into. No, wait a minute. I don't buy into the notion of white privilege. See, I think that's a liberal. That's a liberal political construct right along the lines of political correctness. It's designed to intimidate and get people to shut up and admit they're guilty of doing things they haven't done. I don't have any white privilege.
You know what white privilege is? White privilege is that what happened to George Floyd would not have happened to a white man. That's the epitome of white privilege right there.
If what happened to George Floyd had happened to a white man, we probably wouldn't even have heard about it. Look, guys, can I ask you? You keep harping on white privilege and racism. Would you tell me how to end it? What can we do to end this so that you are not frustrated and angry and feeling like whatever you feel like? Because I hate it. You guys, we're all Americans here, and I don't like the fact that you're angry all the time. So what can we do to stop the racism?
Here's the thing, right? As long as there's a system of white supremacy there will always be these type of situations.
Because Democrat Party has been promising to fix your grievances for 50 years, and you have the same grievances, you have the same complaints. They haven't done a damn thing for you. They haven't even punished the people that you think are responsible for the racism and bigotry being done to you. Why do you keep supporting them? Look, we are all aware of police brutality. We're all aware of the actions that some rogue cops take, and it's way too many of them against African American men, and it's time to stop. And I'm not a policeman, I'm not an executive in a police department, but it seems to me that if those people end up being charged instead of shielded, when they commit murder, there shouldn't be any legalized murder, and that would be one way to at least get a start on making sure it doesn't happen. I think what the president ought to do is use the God-given humility that he has, and don't doubt me that he does. He has a lot of humility.
There's nothing humble about the president.
Well, no, there is. Even at every rally, you will see his
all
humility,
ego,
his appreciation for the people that show up. But it's simple matter of understanding he's president of everybody here, and trying to quell these moments of unrest is something that would be really, really to his advantage.
I think what you said about Obama in 2014 applies. When you said if he wants to, he can inspire, and I think it's called for in this situation. But I don't think he wants to inspire. I think he wants to incite.
Okay, first, I do agree with you about the inspiration. I think he can. I think he should. I think all presidents should. In terms of Trump inciting, look, the guy has had everybody and their uncle telling lies and falsehoods about him for 3.5, 4 years now. And he's probably a little fed up with it. Yeah, before the shutdown happened, look at what black unemployment was. It was a record low. The number of African Americans that had jobs, the wages that were going up. And then this virus comes along and the bottom is pulled out from it. He's got to be frustrated as he can be. And I'm not trying to carry his water.
Well, the black unemployment rate started going down under Obama too, though. I mean, that's one thing that Trump takes credit for that actually started under President Obama.
It did? Okay. Well, that's
yes.
Then I don't feel like I am a white supremacist, and I don't think there's much white supremacy going on out there, but I need to have you define. See, this is one of the divides on the white supremacy thing. I'm not in any kind of denial. I just know that it's a politically charged element. Politics and liberalism, and I do not cave or compromise or give one iota of an inch to liberalism, no matter what. So white supremacy or white privilege is a construct of today's Democrat Party, and I'm not going to agree with any aspect of it as they put it.
All right, so that's what Rush Limbaugh had to say on the Breakfast Club. Again, that was edited down. I cut out a lot of it because we were trying to, keep it for time. It was already long. So that was just a summary of some of the points he made. What did y'all think?
Go ahead, Rick. Guest first always.
Go ahead, Rick.
Can't hear you, Rick.
No problem. He said a lot of ridiculous things here, a ton of them. Right? Now, you definitely love to see a guy like Rush Limbaugh interacting and engaging with the Breakfast Club because it gives them a larger platform, even though they dominate, like he said, they dominate radio already, right? But Rush Limbaugh is one of the most, he is the highest, he's the most listened to radio show around. He has, 15.5 million weekly listeners, right? And so you look at a guy like Rush Limbaugh, this is a huge platform for the Breakfast Club because now they're expanding. It's a great place to have this conversation, a great person to have this conversation with. However, at the end of the day, I understand what Charlamagne said when he said it was a waste of my time, right? And the reason he's saying that is because you look at what Rush is saying. Rush said a lot of ridiculous stuff. He says, this is America, right? Well, that's not America. What you saw is not America. It's not what we've always been. Word?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't you in the past. You haven't been like that before. Never have you been killing black people, innocent black people. That's never been your deal. Word. What about Rosewood and Black Wall Street? Right? No, none of those things ever happened.
Why you gotta shake?
I'm just
jazz hands.
it's nonsense.
Yeah.
Like what?
Like Emmett Till wasn't in this country.
People don't know about the Tulsa thing though, Rick.
Yeah, people don't know about the Tulsa.
Oh, cool, no problem. Well, there was a thriving situation that was going on in Tulsa, right? Like we had all kind of stuff going on, and then you had a bunch of white people who came to that place because of something that they felt happened to a young white girl. So a young white girl. They not only raided, they burned it to the ground.
Yeah.
Right. They burned Black Wall Street to the ground. And after they did that, there was no apologies. Back to the other point I was making. So when we look at a situation like that, right, he's saying that's not America. It's not what it's always been. That's nonsense. It's nonsense what he said. Right. And then on top of that, he's also saying, hey, look, there's not a lot of white supremacy going on here. Word? Like what? There's a ton of white supremacy going on here. And if you're not paying attention to it, then you're not paying attention to it because you don't want to pay attention to it. And that's really that simple. And so what do I think? I think at the end of the day, I mean, cool. It was great for the Breakfast Club to kind of get out there. It was great to have this conversation. But I mean, if you have Charlamagne saying it was a waste of my time, there's a reason he's saying that. He said he left that conversation feeling like it was unproductive. I have no problem with talking to people from the other side, but I just felt like that's your real truth. Like when you talk to your real truth, I don't know if I got that from him or from Rush. It felt like more of a performance. Why did it feel like a performance? Because he was performing.
Yeah. You know, the thing that bothered me was when he said that there's no such thing as white privilege. Right. And we know that not to be true because we can see so many different things. Even this week alone, they put out numbers that said Black people are less likely to get their jobs back from a situation where they've been furloughed or laid off. Black people get less callbacks because of their resume sounding like a Black name. Right. What is that? Why is that not privilege? And then he said something that really stood with me. And I deal with this on a daily basis. Oh, man, what happened?
Right.
I don't know where that happened.
Trump.
Rush got to you.
Yeah. I deal with that on a daily basis. And
now I've moved up.
That Trump Wi-Fi.
my bad. And the issue is this, man. The issue is that's exactly what it was, Wi-Fi. The issue is this. I deal with people on a daily basis who are looking for opportunities in life, right? There are several systematic things set up for Black people and people of color not to have an opportunity, right? We can talk about the school system, K through 12. We can talk about being in an area where you only get noticed by bigger name schools or scholarship opportunities. If you're not academically sound, is if you can carry a rock, if you can hold a basketball, if you can throw a football, like different things like that. So that to me just was really a waste of the Breakfast Club time. Now, what I will say is this. I'm glad the conversation happened. It seemed like Rush was the one that reached out, but this was the bad thing about this was it took a situation for him to be disgusted, right? For him to say, hey, I and all of the white America is disgusted with this George Floyd situation. That's how he came off. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're not concerned about all the others? Like, what's her name? I just put up yesterday, laying in her bed, shot and killed 8 times. Shot 8 times. Breonna Taylor. So I don't understand how Rush can come back and say that, you know, that there is no privilege and that this is a situation where, you know, we're finally disgusted. Finally disgusted? What?
I'll say this, man. I think that, like I said earlier, I think a lot of conservatives didn't see, or they always have a mindset of, you know, this person was breaking the law and they deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Because even going back and forth with the whole, I saw somebody talk about, they always bring up, or people always bring up, well, white people get killed more than Black people by the cops. Well, statistically saying that, I think what people don't realize is that they always, I think some, I'm thinking of Ashley and Jason right now. Some white folks think that that person was like, I'm not talking about them. I don't want to broaden them together. So some white folks think that person was a criminal, so they deserve to die. And I'm not even talking about black. I'm just talking about white. Like, that's why we don't see like when he was saying we don't see those videotapes, is because it's not like it is what it is for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they separated from, oh, he was a bad person, so he deserved to die, or he deserved what he got, regardless of the fact. So I think after hearing that conversation, I think everybody had their points that they stood on. Do we need more conversations like that? I think that would be great to hear what the other side is saying. I think too often we just are closed off to our one side and say what we think is right, and that's it. But if somebody make a point to say, hey, why are you guys thinking this way, or why are you continue to vote for these people and they don't do nothing for y'all, and they couldn't really say nothing, or why white supremacy, why can't you denounce white supremacy and he can't say nothing? You know what I'm saying? So I think I don't think it was a helpful, but it was a great conversation to have, because if you have somebody with different ideologies than you, I think that's a conversation to have.
You better clean that up.
Look, even if they rationalize it that way.
Clean it up. Clean it up.
You don't got to clean up what you're saying, brother.
I'm not saying that they think that way. I'm saying that when we're on our call on Thursday nights, they don't want to be lumped together like we're not those white folks. That's what I'm trying to say. That's real. But look, even if they rationalize it that way, think about it for 1 second. If they really rationalize it that way, well, oh man, all these people were guilty, and they were guilty of a wrongdoing, and that's why they got killed, right? Even if you rationalize it that way, think about this. Even if Tamir Rice had a real gun, right? Even if Breonna Taylor but think about it. Just think about it. Think about it. I'm saying
think about it though.
When he talked about from white people getting killed from the cops, he's thinking from that perspective of that guy did something wrong. He was a criminal.
Yeah.
Something happened and he resisted from the cops, and they had to do what they had to do.
Listen, even if these people are wrong, right? This is not the way they have to go to jail. I mean, this is not the way you administer justice. Even if they were wrong, it's not the way you administer justice. And that's the big problem. Let's say George Floyd did have a counterfeit $20 bill, right? And let's say that was a real situation. He was really, doing all that. There's still a way to take him to jail and allow justice to be served without killing him in the middle of the street.
Yeah, I get that.
Even if that's how they rationalizing it, they still wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that. What you're saying is correct. I know they're wrong, but I think for this case, they just see how George Floyd died and was like, oh my God, this is horrible. So I think that's where they're coming from, that perspective.
So I'm actually say something today. What I hear is that, because I watch everything. Right, so Fox, Rush, like all these people, right?
Breitbart.
What I hear, Breitbart, InfoWars, I look at everything because I want to know what all my brothers and sisters say, not just some of them. What I'm hearing is, hey guys, we agree with this one. This one makes sense. I understand why you're mad about this one. So yeah, you're right. He deserves justice. Those cops needs to go to jail. I agree with you. That's what I'm hearing from Rush and a lot of people.
Yeah.
But then I'm hearing there's no problem. There's no white supremacy problem. So you don't agree with me. Because if you don't believe there's a white supremacy problem and you don't believe there's a white privilege problem, why do you think George Floyd died? If you're seeing this as just like a true crime story and you see that, oh, George Floyd was innocent and this one is just cause that these people are fighting for, but you don't agree with why he was killed, then you don't agree with me. I'm saying that George Floyd was killed because of white supremacy and white privilege. If that was a white woman laying on the ground, his knee would not have been in her neck. And you know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. So why are you denying what's true? Black men are on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to how they're treated by police.
Yes.
What we've been seeing this week is there's a general police brutality problem. There's a pride problem with a lot of police officers, not all. We've had police officers on our show. We love you. But there's a pride problem with a lot of police officers. They feel like they have a gun and a badge. And if somebody disrespects them or doesn't do what they want, they feel like they can get all up in them. That's wrong. Problem is, even though there's a general police brutality problem, black men catch it the worst. That's the point we're trying to make. The old man that was just pushed down on the street in front of cameras, blood coming out of his ear, that's a police brutality problem. That's an over-aggression problem. That happens to us all the time with no camera. That's the point we're trying to make. There is a problem. The bias,
no apology.
The bias that people see, and the lies that are made up. They said that he tripped and fell. The old man that had the blood coming out of his ear. They said he tripped and fell. That was a lie. That lie, those lies of protecting each other happens all the time. So if you don't agree that white supremacy, systemic racism, white privilege were part of the reason George Floyd is dead, then you do not agree with me. That's what we're trying to say. This one is so obvious that, yeah, you agree with this, but you still don't agree with us on everything else. We're trying to tell you that this happens all the time. It doesn't always end in death. Sometimes it's small ways and big ways. We are constantly feeling this way, or not around just police, when we try to get a job, when we're in a job, when we're trying to move up in a job, when we're in meetings and we feel like I've walked around my office and I hear conversations, and then when they see me, it's like, it happens there's so many examples of this, and we feel it all the time. If you still don't agree, then we are not on the same side on this. We're still not. Even if you agree that George Floyd was innocent and deserves justice, we're still not on the same side. And what we're asking you, our white brothers and sisters, or even our black brothers and sisters that still don't agree with this for some reason, we are asking you to understand that this is a problem that we've been feeling for a long time, and this goes back centuries, and we need your help to call it out, because there's no way it should be allowed to stand that if I'm in a situation, I have more of a chance to die than somebody else in this country. That's what we're trying to say. Please understand that. So Rush Limbaugh, I appreciate you saying George Floyd was the pinnacle of innocence or whatever you said. But if you still don't admit that there's white supremacy and white privilege in this country, you are still part of the problem. You're preaching to your congregation every day that this is not a problem. Those same people will listen to you, soak up your words, go on about their business, and then keep treating us the same way they've been treating us before. Don't you understand that? That's what we're trying to say. Stop being part of the problem. I've seen so many white supremacists on Fox News this week. It makes me sick. And they hide it behind the flag. They hide it behind patriotism. They hide it behind this veneer of, oh, we're all working together. No, we're not. We're not. You are not helping. Stop falling behind this right versus left conservative liberalism thing to be a mean person. You're just mean. Stop pretending you're doing it for some other virtuous reason. Stop.
Yeah.
We need your help.
I told you guys that I recently saw on social media a group of Christians that were saying that this is all a hoax, right? That George Floyd is somewhere on a beach. He's been paid off by the government to make all this happen. And I mean, and it was just so despicable. And I was just like, let me just do a test real quick. And I clicked on the guy's profile. I clicked on a couple of profiles, and all of them said like, a follower of Christ, Jesus loves you, blah, blah. And I was like, really? Like, I mean, I can't imagine. And then they were cursing at each other and calling each other names. And you're stupid if you don't see this. And you need to open your eyes up and wake your A up. And I'm like, how are we going in the name of Christianity like this? This is what bothers me the most, right? It bothers me where we are all supposed to be aligned through a faith, right? And we know what the picture of heaven is supposed to look like, right? But then we see all this division happening. And I just got on somebody's page yesterday, and I don't know who it was. It was somebody said something, and I was like, can we please just stop arguing and let's mourn for our country, right? Can we just make this about Christ and nothing else? Not about a party, not about a flag, not about anything, just Christ. Can we just make it about Christ? And then one guy said, here, brother. And another guy said, true that. Right. But then the next line down, after I said what I said, they were arguing again. And I was like, I came back. I was like, y'all didn't hear me the first time when I said this is the problem. We argue. We need to be talking about Christ and whether or not he's not going to come back for a church without spot or wrinkle. because we still got spots and wrinkles all over us, right? So what are we doing here, man? It's crazy.
Well, I think we're showing who's the real church in this time, I believe.
Yeah.
I do believe that people are going to see who's who and who's for it. You know what I'm saying? So I do say this. Just because people out there protesting with you, like he's trying to say with Rush, there's people out there protesting, standing up, and they still going to vote for Trump. So I wouldn't. I'm seeing people saying like we're going to change things. We're coming together. I'm like, no, we're coming together for this situation because we want justice for George Floyd. But at the same time, these people still think of political parties.
But Jeremiah, are there people who are having conversations with us in this very moment that'll still vote for Trump? I mean, you just never know. And so when
you're not gonna let that go.
I'm just saying. So when I think about it, right?
It's almost like Drew Brees. I mean, you still gonna.
You still got his picture up in the back wall.
You know why his picture's still up? Because he apologized. You know who won't apologize? Trump. Anyway, back to it.
But you know what? Let me ask you this question. When you heard the comment, did you take the picture down and then you put it back up?
No, it stayed up. He got the jersey. He put the jersey on.
It was cool.
I didn't get to my room in time.
You didn't get disgusted.
No, I was disgusted. But can I tell you what happened? Can I tell you what happened?
Super Bowl. That's all I care about.
Well, if you won one, maybe you'd feel the same way. But listen, at the end of the day, y'all, we're getting off topic. But Sean, I completely agree with what you said. I thought what you said was poignant. I think it was absolutely necessary. There's only one omission in the statement. It was black women as well, right? So it's not just black men who are treated like.
When I say black men, I'm talking about in the sense of police brutality. Black men are usually at the bottom of the totem pole in the workplace. In the workplace,
no. I mean, black women are treated with the police brutality
in the workplace.
Well.
I know. In the workplace, black women are at the bottom of the totem pole. I know that.
Yeah, but we're not. Yeah, I'm talking about as far as police brutality is concerned. They can't be left out of the conversation.
Of course. All
right. So I mean, that's all I want. And the other question is, are they mean? Or like you ended it with saying, hey, you're just mean. But are they mean or are they really just racist?
Some people are mean. Some people are evil. I can't tell you what you are.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there is a hashtag George Floyd challenge going on right now. And it's the most disgusting, despicable thing in the world. There is white teenagers, white boys that are reenacting the George Floyd death. And when I saw that, man, I almost threw my iPhone on the ground. I was like, oh, you know what? Whatever, bump this. I don't care anything about social media. I almost deleted some of my social media accounts yesterday because I was like, I'm tired of turning this on. I'm tired of reading about it. I'm tired of getting notifications about it. I'm just tired of it. I'm so tired, y'all. Y'all don't understand how tired I am.
I think, Ryan, you put yourself in those positions, though, because you go and see people and then you be like, let me, it be inside of you to fight. You know what I mean? I think you want to fight it, and then you be like, you fight it, and then you get into a conversation with somebody.
I'm very disciplined. I've only posted one political thing this whole 4 years since Trump has been elected. One political thing, and that was like 2 weeks ago, right? And the other issue that I have is that I see the comments, and it's so hard to scroll past them. Like I was on the Nextdoor app. Y'all know what the Nextdoor app is, where you just get.
But you don't have to.
Right, but what I'm saying, I was on there, and the guy was just like, "I agree with Drew Brees. I believe the flag is da 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 da." And I just hit back. I was like, "Why are you talking about that on here? Nobody cares. I come on this app to find out what my neighborhood is doing, like what stores are open, who has a new mask, and who has more toilet tissue. I don't care about your opinion about the flag."
Do you know where you live?
Yeah,
I live in Douglasville.
You live in the South, bro.
No.
Yeah, but it was just so stupid for him to put that on that app.
That way.
Yeah, I get mad. So the day George Floyd passed away and it was all over the news, some lady was like, "Could you all please not let your dogs use the bathroom on my lawn?" I was like, "Lady, if you don't get it together right now, there's no time to be talking about your dumb dog." So I was like, I just get upset with the ignorance that I'm seeing, man. And social media, I hate the way people use social media. That's why I try to stay off of social media in the way that I criticize social media, because I still feel like I ain't gonna say what I feel like because this is gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings. But I don't care for you to post all the pictures about your life. I don't need a 24-hour timeline of what you did yesterday and how you went jogging through the park and all that kind of stuff.
Then why are you their friends?
Inform me. Well, I have 5,000 friends so that they can see what I posted.
Tell them, Ryan.
Trackstarz.
Flex on them, Ryan.
Period.
How many friends you got?
5,000.
Tell them, Ryan.
But it's people I don't know. I just use that.
So do you really have 5,000 friends?
I know.
I have like 3,000
This
friends
has nothing
in
to
common
do
with
with
Trackstarz.
anything
It
at all.
does. It
This
does.
is how the rabbit hole
Nothing to
Ryan
do
be
with
going
anything.
on social media. He start off one way and then just keep going and keep going.
Anyway.
Oh yeah,
so,
I could do the Guinness Book of
So
World
the
Records without having to end
the
a
point
sentence.
is that I think even in agreement, there's still some distance. There's still some daylight in what we're hearing from our friends here, and I just really want to make sure it's clear that there's still some work to do. Just because you agree with this situation doesn't mean we're on the same page. There's still some daylight, so we still need to talk. We still need to go a little bit deeper.
I have a question. I'm just saying this based off kind of like Ryan seeing stuff online and different things. And maybe this could be a topic in the future. How does white supremacy affect other races? And the reason I'm asking that is because for some people, for some, I can't speak for other groups, but for some groups, when you see how they organize and everything like that, some may say white supremacy don't affect us. So that's why I guess the question would be, and I have to do more research on it. How does it affect, besides black people, how does it affect other people? Because
Ryan,
sometimes it doesn't seem like other people seem like quote unquote white supremacy affects them.
Ryan brought up a good point yesterday when we were actually having a conversation about our Mexican brothers and sisters, right? And other races. And even if you look at what's happening with the Indians, right? Or you look at what happened with Indian people, they were affected by white supremacy. You look at what happens with Mexicans on a consistent basis. I mean, the whole wall thing that some people vote for, like that's a situation, right? Where white supremacy affects them as well. So I don't know. And I mean, it's not just that black people are affected by white supremacy, right? White supremacy means that I, as a white person, right, I'm supreme to all other people. So everybody else under that will be affected by them kind of elevating themselves to that in that regard. So that goes for every minority gets affected by that.
The reason this is always, if you're on the sidelines of this, or you feel like you are, and you're like, I'm not white, I'm not black, what do I do in this situation? I've heard that a lot. The reason this always kind of comes down to white and black is because of slavery, for one, and also because of the history of specifically white on black racism. Black people, the average salary for a black person in America is the lowest, right? Is the lowest still after all these years.
Yeah,
it's impacted black people the most, racism in America. It doesn't mean that white people are only racist against black people, and it doesn't mean there isn't other race issues between other races, but that one is it's just the biggest. Like my family is not from this country. Race isn't the biggest separator of people from where they're from. It's usually money, it's class, and money and class is a big separator in America as well. But race is the biggest. It's still the biggest separator of people in America. That needs to be fixed. That cannot continue.
Sean, let me say, I said Indians earlier, and people are absolutely right.
Native Americans.
Yes, Native Americans, absolutely right. So I don't mean Indians, I mean Native Americans.
And there are Indians, actual people from India here too, that often get ignored in this conversation too.
Thank you.
No, but and then I'm asking that, and when I ask that, and I'm thank you for what you said, Sean. I just think sometimes that we see people that's from other races that do stuff to us too, and they feel like, well, I'm better than y'all too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where it's just have those conversations, and I'm glad a conversation is needed to happen. So
yeah, this is a hard conversation. This is going to go on and on, but at the end of the day, the point we're trying to make, if Rush and people like Rush are actually listening, please just at least hear the heart. At least hear the heart and actually listen. This is his number one fear. Rush's because his audience was listening while he was talking. His number one fear is that he's going to lose to liberalism. A lot of people are afraid that they're going to lose to this boogeyman of liberalism. A lot of Christians are afraid of that. That is not an excuse to be a terrible person. I would rather you lose to liberalism than lose to your own sin. Racism is a sin in America. We have to conquer it. His fear of liberalism won't let him make any budges in his heart towards people that are different than him. That needs to end. That's why I rail so much against politics, because I feel like it's just like where Rick is a Saints fan and Ryan is an Atlanta fan, and no matter what happens on their teams, they're going to rival their team no matter what. If that happens with politics, that is the most evil thing you can do, is ride for your team, even though people on your team are terrible. Even though stuff your
Rick.
team does is terrible.
Yeah, Rick.
If you've decided that it's team over God, you're in a cult. You are now in a cult, and you need
Christians
to get out
don't
of that
forgive.
cult.
Yeah, and that's where I had a good conversation with a brother in Christ yesterday, and that's where I am right now. Like I'm sorry to say, I'm double-minded. A lot of times when I go to prayer, I don't know what to pray for. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to be like. I go to God genuinely saying, God, I don't understand what's happening. God, I don't know how I'm going to raise 3 daughters in this world. I don't understand how to have this conversation. Like, she's 7. God, I don't want to talk to her about this yet. You know, it's just so much right now. And I can't. I mean, I'm just so disappointed, so brokenhearted, and just everything is disgusting right now on TV. Everything is disgusting. And we trust God, we go with God, but we still live moment by moment. And you still have to see it play out, and you have to hear about it and decipher it and figure it out. It's hard right now.
All right, man, let's get back into it. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah.